Wednesday wisdom, mileage
on
versus time. Hello, everybody, and welcome to your next edition of Wednesday Wisdom. My name is Dr. Cameron Garber, and I really am passionate about this topic today. So we're speaking today about a big nugget of wisdom, in my opinion, which is training for mileage versus training for time. So I want to find out how many people are in each camp. Maybe we'll do a poll with it or something. How many people train for mileage versus how many people train for time? Drop that in the comments down below. I want to see what you do. Are you training more mileage and pace? Or are you training for more time and using heart rate as the indicator of how hard you're working and should be working? I have a huge bias here. And actually, so does the JOSPT, so the Journal of Orthopedic and Sports Physical Therapy, as well as many others that try to train people in ways that they don't get injured. That training for time and mileage is actually a better way to train for not only improvement of fitness and making sure that you're increasing your times, but also to avoid injury. And the reason why, that seems a little crazy because most people that you know and most track coaches and things like that actually train more for mileage and pace. The reason why that's an important differentiator, though, and why training for mileage tends to lead towards injury is that we tend not to listen to our body quite as well. We have a set mileage that we need to achieve today, and we have a set pace that we want to do it in, and we tend to stick to that regardless of how our body's feeling that day. And so we tend to push it past those limits of where maybe our body is telling us we shouldn't push past because we're not really listening. And that's why I love heart rate, because it allows us to have a very unbiased voice, I guess, in the system, so that it can tell us whether or not we are fatigued, we're depleted, we didn't sleep well the night before, or whatever else. And so by training for pace and mileage, we may be able to stick to that and hit that on Wednesday, for example. But what if my workout on Wednesday then, because I pushed it according to the number of miles I needed to hit because I wrote it down on a piece of paper and the pace that I wanted to stick to because that's where I'm at in my training. So great, I accomplished that on Wednesday, but because of that, now my Thursday run, my Friday run didn't go quite as well, and then my long run on Saturday or Sunday or whatever totally gets blown up because I wound up pushing it too hard on Wednesday to keep that pace and mileage that I wanted and didn't wind up having great runs for the rest of the week. So now I took one potential, not great run by listening to my body and slowing down on that day, and I wound up blowing up the next 3, 4, 5 days of my training. Really, really common thing where people are always running at kind of a calorie deficit, always fatigued and depleted because of how hard they push it because they're training for that mileage or that pace. So in reverse, I really like training for time and for using heart rate instead, because the heart rate allows me to check how hard I'm working. The time is still important to make sure we're getting enough time on our feet for whatever event we're training for. So I agree with the fact that, I got to get those miles in. Similar idea, only I like to base it more on time. I need to get that amount of time on my feet, but the intensity doesn't necessarily have to be high to get the same effect of what we're going for in terms of adaptation of tendons, ligaments, muscles, joints, bones, all of those adaptations we need to make to build up our resilience. That happens as much with time as it does with intensity. And so the intensity can build slowly over time as my body allows it to, based on how I'm doing in terms of nutrition, recovery, sleep, all of those things, they will be reflected in the heart rate. So the better I do at getting adequate sleep, getting adequate nutrition, making sure I do recovery activities that allow me to be ready to go for my next run, I'll be a lot better off, and that gets more reflected in the heart rate. And so I can know on any given day how hard I need to run based on those heart rate zones. And that way, if, let's say on that same Wednesday run, man, for whatever reason, I'm a little dehydrated or I didn't sleep well the night before, and my heart rate's up like 10 beats per minute for that same pace to where it normally is, I can go, okay, for whatever reason, I need to back it down today. And then we wake up the next day, Thursday goes great, Friday goes great because I didn't push it too hard on Wednesday. And then on my long run, Saturday, Sunday, like you crush it. And so instead of having 5 days of bad workouts because of one day of trying to push it beyond what you felt like was right, you wind up having a whole week worth of good workouts. And then when you have that speed work day on Thursday or Friday or whatever, you're really able to push it and really able to crush that speed workout instead of kind of having a junky speed workout on Thursday because you pushed it too hard on your Wednesday workout. So it really sets you up for having successive good runs instead of potentially getting behind because you tried to stick to that pace or tried to stick to that mileage. And then it makes the rest of your workouts not quite as great for the rest of the week. So training for heart rate and training for time allows you to make sure that you're being a little bit more objective in how you're feeling and how you're doing so that you're not just basing it on what you wrote down on the paper and how you think you feel, because sometimes we lie to ourselves, or we can sometimes even feel great, but our heart rate's high and we should push it because we're fighting off the flu bug or something like that in the background and we don't even know it, but our legs feel great. So we run that speed even with our heart rate high, and then we have a few bad days or we wind up getting sick and we have to take a whole week off. And so there's where the wisdom comes in. Be more controlled and listen to your body in a way that's more objective by using your heart rate, and that'll keep you tuned in to your body and keep you healthy and on the road. And that's what we love to do here at Body Smart. So let us know again if you train for heart rate or for time and mileage. And there's our 2 cents as to why we love to train by time, and heart rate versus training for mileage and pace. So let us know what you do down in the comments down below. Would love to hear from you. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe, all of those good things so you can get our next episode of Wednesday Wisdom. And we look forward to seeing you in the next one.